So, welcome everybody. This is Dan Blystone from Traders Log. I'm really happy to introduce Jake Montag from Optimus Futures today. He's going to give us an overview of the flagship platform of Optimus Futures, which is called Optimus Flow. Welcome to the presentation, Jake.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here. So let's get into things. I'll start with an introduction. My name is Jake. Um, I am a broker for Optimus Futures. My primary role is technical support. So if you ever decide to reach out or have any questions on the platform here you see in front of us, feel free to ask for me and I'll give you a hand. I would like to start off the presentation by saying that trading futures and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. That being said, let's get into it.
Sounds
Um,
good.
yeah, and I guess I would like to start off by telling the audience that the screen recording here you may see we are currently using a Zoom call, so you may see a green highlight around the border of the platform. That is Zoom, not the platform, so just keep that in mind. Um, and let's start. So, Optimus Flow, it has a nice blend of basically everything you kind of need for futures trading. As the name indicates, Flow, the platform does have a heavy emphasis on order flow technical analysis, TPO charts, market profile, volume profile. Um, there really is a nice blend of a little bit of everything you need. And one of my favorite things about the platform is the customization. So you'll notice there is a toolbar running across the top of your screen. This is basically the platform. Everything you see underneath that or behind is just something that I've customized for myself. So what I like to tell our traders and encourage them to do is basically make your own platform. What we give you is just a default layout of a couple combined features that we think are helpful and that most traders use. But again, you're not locked into it. And to show you what I mean by that is all we need to do is minimize our bind, we call it here, or that workspace you just saw. You can open up the main menu of Optimus Flow in the top left corner, clicking on the Optimus Flow logo, and you'll see these are all our features. There's quite a few, so if you do try out a demo or try out the platform, feel free to mix and match these features as needed. Click through, you can see what the names are. For example, you see OE stands for order entry,
You got the
and you can,
dome.
yeah, what's that?
You got the dome in there, right, Jake?
Yeah, of course. We have a dome here. And you could see, you could take it a step further. You'll see there's a little star on each one of these little squares. If you click on the star, it adds it up top here for you. So you can basically create your own favorites menu of features that you use often. You just click on the star, and rather than having to go through this menu every time, you simply just click your feature on the top left. And when you do, here you have it. You have a feature. In this case, I clicked on CHT, which stands for chart. I can now move around my chart. I can customize it as need to, make the window bigger, smaller, put it in the section of the screen I like, move it across to a different monitor if I have multiple monitors. Um, so this is where I usually like to start. I think customization, there's a heavy emphasis on it, and you could really get pretty creative with it.
That's great. So it's clearly a highly customizable platform, which is something that sophisticated traders definitely need these days.
Yeah, agreed. There's, trading, as cliche as it may sound, from my experience so far, it's almost like an art style, right? I don't think I've talked to multiple people that do the same thing. Everybody has their own approach to the market. You know, one thing I'll suggest to one trader, the next person I talk to, and they may not necessarily agree, but that's okay. You bring your own approach to a platform or to the market, and whatever you're comfortable with, that's really what matters, in my opinion. And speaking on that topic, I mean the customization, it just goes from there. So, like I showed you, it's just as simple as clicking a symbol in the top left here, and then basically just dragging and dropping. So as you mentioned, we do have a dome. This is the default dome. As you can see, it starts off with the Dow, the YM contract. And as you can see, I'm basically just dragging and dropping to a section of the platform I'm comfortable with and where I like and organizing it that way. Um, and you can definitely keep on going with this. We do have a nice combination of different capabilities you can do with the organization. I like to kind of compare it to the Windows operating system. If you've used Windows operating system, um, and as of right now, Optimus Flow is strictly on Windows 10. We do have in the roadmap a Mac-based version, so that's something to look forward to. And we actually have a web-based version coming out in the near future. So something to keep an eye on. But let's stick with our Windows 10 based version now. Um, now,
What
I
about
was
mobile, Jake? Is there some a mobile version?
so right now, no, it is highly requested, and we do eventually want to create our own mobile Optimus Flow. For
Yeah.
right now, though, there is um, nothing official from Optimus Flow. We do utilize, as you can see in the top right, the rhythmic data feed.
Yeah.
Is one of the data feeds, and I'll pull up our connection menu here so you can see. These
Hmm.
are the current data feeds we work with. We would like to add more, and we do plan on adding more. But on the topic of mobile, we do have CQG as a connection option as well.
Okay.
Now, the mobile option, if you decided to go this route or need a mobile backup, it wouldn't be Optimus Flow specifically, but CQG does have a very nice mobile app that is available. So if you did want to use our platform on your desktop and have a mobile backup, we could configure you for CQG and we can enable your CQG account for CQG Mobile. So everything is server side. Optimus Flow is server side, meaning, when you place an order, it is held on the server level. It's not stored locally. In the event, you know, your computer dies or you have a power outage or your internet goes out, all working orders are saved on the server, so are positions. Um, and if that ever happens, you could just pull up the CQG mobile app and monitor your positions or orders from there. And then, of course, when we do introduce our own mobile app down the line, everything will be integrated that way with the same branding and, you know, same layout and feel. But for now,
Fantastic.
yeah, I would recommend if you do need a mobile app, we put you on CQG.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that. And yeah, as you can see, we give, if you do download a demo, you will be connected to delayed data right off the bat. Um, we give this for free. So if you are a trial user and either maximize your Rhythmic demo or just don't want to sign up for one, you can get a look at the platform, get a feel of how things work with free delayed data that we offer. We do offer CQG, as I mentioned. We actually have a WANDA through Forex. So if you do any Forex or want to receive Forex data on the platform, we use Owanda. And then finally, DX feed. Um, they have a really nice clean data feed. You cannot trade through DX feed, but for those users who either don't want to dive right into trading or haven't funded an account yet but still want data, this is how we can offer data without actually having a trading account. So if you want to see data and use the platform, DX feed is good for that. So those are our current
Super.
connections. Yeah, we plan on adding more, but for now, that is what we have. And back to kind of what I was talking about with the customization. And I won't hammer customization too much because you can really the possibilities are endless. But like I was sort of mentioning, the platform it's running on Windows 10. So the way the platform operates is no different than any internet browser or any window that you use within Windows 10. And what I mean by that is, if you see, I have my chart here. This almost acts like a tab in an internet browser, right? If I have two tabs on Google Chrome running, I can simply take one tab and just drag it into the other. And when you
Hmm.
see that, now I have a tab system, same as your internet browser. So you could really take advantage of the real estate on your screen, whether you only have one monitor or two. I have the potential to put 20 different features in one little space here if I want to. So this is really good for traders who are trading different products or may stick to one product at a time, but like different time frames. You could have one tab on 1 minute, one tab on 5 minute, one on 15, and so on and so forth. Really giving you a lot of flexibility and, like I mentioned, customization with your trading. So always something that you could take advantage of if you're lacking real estate or just want to get the most out of your screen. Um, And once you do have everything organized, of course, we have a nice feature called the bind. This will essentially allow you to lock your workspace into place. all you do is click on bind, draw a line over the features you want binded together, press enter on your keyboard, and now you see, rather than having two separate windows free floating all around, I now have one solid workspace, basically how we started off the video with. Um,
Right. And you can
so
save these as a template, right?
yes, you can. Yeah, that was actually where I was going to go with it. You can save these as a template. So Optimus Flow does autosave. If I close the platform right now and reopened it, it would open identical to the way you see it now. It will auto connect for you, so you really don't have to worry about saving too much. But sometimes, things will happen. You may accidentally close a workspace instead of closing the platform. I see it happen. It's okay. If you save it as a template, like you mentioned, all we have to do is name it whatever we want. We can name it test for this. It really doesn't matter. You click save. Let's say I do accidentally close my workspace. All I have to do is come up to this section here. You'll see there's a new section of the platform called templates, which is above analytics. Again, you can click on the star to keep it as a favorite. And if you click on it, there we go. My workspace exactly how I left off.
Fantastic.
And I accidentally double click, so you'll saw two open. But yeah, exactly how I left off. And again, this is something I didn't put any thought into at all. There's no rhyme or reason to why I put things in the place I did, but just to merely show off customization. So I know I started off with that, and I'll always fall back on that. That's one thing I really do like about the platform. Gives you a lot of freedom and
And you
flexibility with that.
also have like a backup feature, a recovery feature in case you
Yeah,
lose your templates.
yeah, of course we do. So not only do we have templates, so you do have that as a layer of saving, and of course, like I mentioned, the platform does autosave, but we do have here under the miscellaneous section, you'll see it's these purple icons down at the bottom. We do have BAM, Backup Manager. This is pretty useful. It comes into play in multiple scenarios. One, if somehow something ever happens to your computer, it gets corrupted, or maybe you want to use multiple computers and one day you configure your workspace on one computer and then realize that you don't have that same workspace on your other computer, or just if you want to have a backup, all you need to do is open up the backup manager, click on backup settings. You can designate a file path here. You can name it whatever you'd like as well, and then all you need to do is just click create backup. You'll see Optimus Flow will take a couple of seconds here to save it, and once you've done that, down the line or even on your other computer, all you need to do is drag that file over to a USB or send it to yourself on email, or in the event that somehow you lose your workspace and you just want to restore it on the same computer, once you have that file on your computer, just go to recover settings and you'll see here's a backup folder. Optimus Flow actually periodically saves this for you just as a backup. So even if you don't save it yourself throughout the day, you should have several save points, as you can see over the past couple days. Mine has. And then I just click on it and recover. This was from earlier today when I was using the platform. This is just the one I just did create. Um, and yeah, once you have that selected, I'm not going to do it right now, but you just need to click Start Recovery and you'll get a carbon copy of the platform you were just using right through this zip file that's saved here. So thanks
Pretty
for
cool.
bringing that up. Yeah. So those, those are our saving options, our customization options so far. And of course, you can get even more wild with customization. Something I'll show off real quick, which I know a lot of people want and a lot of platforms do have, is the linking feature. All this does is basically allows you to link two sections of the platform to one another. Now, I'll show it off in a second here. You can see they're both YM on my chart in my dome. Now let's watch what happens when I link it. All you need to do, we call it a hamburger menu. You'll find this menu all throughout the platform. If you see these three horizontal lines stacked on one another, this is basically your key to settings or some sort of customization. And you
Hmm.
can see you can duplicate panels if you want to make a carbon copy. And another way to basically make a copy of your workspace is duplicate panel. You can set as default, you can create additional panels, or link. So I bring up link. So if we link it to a yellow color and we do the same thing on this panel, when we change a symbol from, so anything, we're on the ES right now, right? Let's say, for example, we want to change over to the NQ. If I go into my NQ and I double click, you'll see my dome and my chart simultaneously change to the same exact symbol. So rather than having to go through each little sub menu and go down and manually do it, you basically only have to do it on one, and every single other feature, you know, linked to that will automatically, go right to the same symbol. So that's a nice feature as well that we like for convenience.
Very nice.
Now, I figure from there that's probably a good segue into some of the order routing capabilities of Optimus Flow, order types, and how to actually place orders. Of course, with the trading platform, customization is important, but the real thing everybody's focused on is order placement. And there's
Right.
definitely quite a bit of options on Optimus Flow for that. At the end of the day, we give you the features you need. It's up to you to decide which ones you want to utilize. A lot of people like the platform for our chart trading mode. It's very simple and intuitive, and I'll show that off. So, in the top right of your chart, you'll have several different icons here. One of them is keyboard trading, and I'll segue into that in a second. But the one I wanted to show off here is our mouse trading or our chart trading. It's very simple. All you do is click on the mouse icon in the top right. You'll see it right above your account name. And once this icon here is blue, or your other telltale sign is down here in the bottom left, you'll see hold control to place more orders. Your chart trading has become active. And it's very simple. The platform automatically adjusts for you the proper order type on the right side of the market. For example, as you can see here, I'm above the market right now, and you can see the left of my crosshair says buy stop. The right is sell limit. All that's meaning is if I left click, I'm placing a buy order. If I right click, sell order. And what's nice is you'll notice when I change to the opposite side of the market, the platform automatically switches it for you. So you have a buy limit below and now a sell stop below the market, basically inverse of what we've done here. So rather than having to think about the order type that needs to go where, the platform just basically does it for you. Now, from there, you have all your customization settings on the far right hand side. So you can see we have time in force, or some platforms may call it order duration. You'll see we have day orders, fill or kill, good to cancel, or immediate to cancel, immediate or cancel, excuse me. So you can go ahead and set that up there. Quantity, of course, is a big one. You can set it in manually by just simply typing it. You can click these arrows up or down to increase or decrease. Or we actually have a couple of preset options here. You can see right now 1, 2, 5, and 10 um, to adjust your quantity on the fly. Now you can actually customize these buttons. I'll get into the settings in a bit, but first I figured I'll show you how to place orders. And the one last thing I would mention too is for bracket orders. The platform's fairly intuitive with that. You'll see there's a no SL, no TP. That stands for stop loss and take profit. All you do is activate it. You click on it, flip on this little switch, and you'll see it asks you for a number. This numerical value is in ticks, as you can see. So all I need to do is type in my tick value, and that's how many ticks away are my stop loss. In this case, is offset from my entry price. And same thing with take profit. Just enter in your tick offset. And I didn't mention, but you can see you can actually make your stop loss a trailing stop by clicking this on as well. So as the market moves up or down, your trailing order will follow. And then from there, all you basically need to do is click on the price that you want to place an order at. So if you do place market orders, you actually don't need to use chart trading. You can see market orders are right in this section here. We also have bid and ask orders you can place, or buy and sell at the bid and ask price. These typically go in as limit orders, but they do tend to get filled pretty quick. Um, so again, if you want to place a trade with mouse trading, you just activate that left or right click on the area of your chart you want to place a price at. By default, we do have order confirmations on. This is nice because it allows you to avoid accidentally placing multiple orders or misclicking. But for some, it may be a bit too slow if you're a fast, or high-paced trader. This could slow you down. So if you're not a fan of that, you can just simply go to don't show again, and you'll never get another order confirmation.
And you get
So
basically got one-click trading, right? Once you've done that.
yeah, exactly. That's literally, I know some platforms have that name, one-click trading. That's exactly what it is. Um, and you can turn this off or on at any time. But we do have it on by default, just as a safety measure, so there's no accidental mistakes made. Um, but yeah, this can be turned off, and you'll see this anytime you place an order or do most things around the platform. There is some sort of confirmation, and again, all you have to do is click "Don't Show Again" to avoid that from happening again. And you can see when I click on yes, there goes my order. Exactly how I described it. I have a stop loss 8 ticks below. I have a take profit 8 ticks above. Um, and you can see my entry order is at the designated entry price. I did left click, so it's a buy stop order above the market price. Um, and again, and I guess small disclaimer, every order I will be placing in this video is simply hypothetical. It's not, this is a paper trading account. We're just doing this for just mere demo purposes and just so you can see how the platform functions. There's no strategy or method behind this. Now, from there, once you have your order in place, this all acts as one solid working OCO order. Now, we aren't filled yet, so these orders, our stop and our take profit, technically aren't working orders yet, but you can see you can still manage them. And chart trading is very simple. All you do is just left click and hold your order and modify it. So you can drag this down. Of course, that order confirmation's there again. I'll click don't show again. And you can see I just adjusted my stop loss from, I believe it was 8 ticks down to 20 just with the click and drag. And same thing with the whole order itself. I could take this whole order and move it up or down the market as I need to. Um, and of course, this is a working order. Let me show you what happens in real time with the market order. Now, for managing orders, you do have options, and that's a good segue into that. Right below your order placement buttons on the right-hand side of your chart, you have all these different options for modifying or canceling orders. As you can see, the first one up front is flatten. That'll basically get you out of everything on that particular product. It will cancel all orders, cancel positions, or flatten positions, and basically just get you out of the market. So at the end of the day, when you're done trading, you typically want to click flatten. It'll get you out of all. And then
Or if you're in a bad situation during the day, right? If some weird black swan event happens or something, it's good to have
right,
that flatten button there.
of course, yes. When in doubt, I would say when you're done trading, or like you said, in case of emergency or something happened, you click flatten, and boom, it gets you out of everything. Um, Now we do have options, and customization options for other things as well. For example, you could see there's closed positions. That will literally do exactly what it says. If you have four working orders in one position, it will only close that one position. Those four other working orders will remain. Um, Same thing with reverse, or well, reverse is literally as it sounds. It just basically flattens your current order. So let's show you. I'll place a market order, a buy market order. Here we go. We get filled that market price. And if I click reverse, it's basically going to do the opposite in one fell swoop. It's
With the
just going to,
same size, Jake? Like if
with
you
the
had
same
like a
size.
three with the same size, okay.
Yeah, it's just going to basically take in the exact parameters as you have in your order placement and just get you out and just put you in the other side of the market.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's one option. Break even, of course. It's basically what it sounds like. You go break even on your order, so it'll basically move. There are multiple ways to do this. Either you could do break even stop orders, but basically just try and make it so you break even on your trade. Potentially don't lose anything. Um, Same thing with cancels. As you can see, it's just literally what it says: cancel orders, cancel buys, cancel sells. These will do the exact commands you punch in here. If you don't like any of these or you find them not helpful or you're just, it's taking up too much real estate, you can click this view tab and basically get rid of things here. So if you don't like reverse, you can uncheck reverse. If you don't like closed positions, you can uncheck that. And basically really slim this down in a way that, you like and see fit. So again, more customization. You could put on no labels so you can see it looks a little bit cleaner. You can put it in slim mode. Um, You can actually, I think I mentioned it, but you can customize these buttons here. As you can see in slim mode, they get a little hard to see, but we can, with the settings, get this configured as well. So it just takes up, less real estate. So that's chart trading. As you can see, very simple. Just everything's pretty much interactive, drag and dropping through the chart or left clicking and right clicking. The other thing I did mention before, which I really didn't get into it, is hotkey trading, which is pretty cool as well. Maybe for you gamers out there, just for those of you who always keep maybe your left hand on the keyboard, this is a really swift way to place orders as well.
Great
Um,
for news trading too, right? If you need to get into the market really fast after a news release.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I mentioned it, but we do have our own news, analysis platform. It's called Optimus News. Um, you know, you can get all your news events from there and keep that on another monitor. And then, like you said, get in and out based on those news events. Um, and you could program everything just with the click of a button on your keyboard. And you can see once I click that keyboard trading, enable it, you'll see it turns that light green color in the top right. More importantly, you see keyboard trading is active in the top left. And then you can customize your parameters basically as you see fit. Everything you do set up on this order panel on the right hand side will take into effect here. And then again, you could customize these as you want. By default, you can see we have some in there. For example, S is market. But maybe you don't want S, or maybe you use that for something else. All you need to do is click on this selection box right here, and then you can customize it to whatever you want. So as you can see, I did a modifier. I held shift and then I press F at the same time. So now that's telling me if I press shift S and I have keyboard trading enabled, I'm going to get a sell market order. And if I back out of these settings and do that, there we go. Shift S, I just placed a one lot short order at the market price. Um, so you can customize that as needed. Speed is everything, and this will definitely help you cut down on speed with your trading. So just another way to place orders through your chart. And again, you can modify your orders just by clicking on the X here, or you could use the right hand side too. Either way works, whatever you prefer. And moving on from there, for our non-chart traders, we also have, of course, our DOM, which you see on the right-hand side. This is on the default layout. This is another way to place your orders, another just view at the market, especially those with you who are enabled for level 2 market depth data. Basically looking at these resting orders in the bid and ask columns to kind of get a gauge of seeing how many, people are trading at each price level, or how to dictate when your order may be placed. You could use a dome as well. It's very simple. All you do is left click on the column you want to place your order for. So for example, the ask column is for your sell side. If you want to place a sell order, you need to do so on the ask side. If you want to place a buy order, you can do so on the bid side. And you'll see when you hover over these columns, the section of the dome, or the price level I hover my mouse on, will actually tell me what the order type is along with the quantity. So right now you can basically see if I hover below the market, this is telling me at 50 15 35 7, for example, that I'm going to place a one lot limit order. All right, so and if I left click at whatever price level I want, as you can see right now my order on this price level says a limit +1. So if I left click, you'll see I have a limit order there. And same thing with your chart trading. You can click and drag these top take profit and stop loss levels as needed. So you can drag these up and down to create stop losses and take profits. Essentially create your own bracket order right through the dome. One thing you will notice is that with the price moving, especially on such an active contract like the NQ, your dome may move around pretty quick. Should have mentioned this first, but we do have auto center in the top right. This will basically keep, the focus right on that market price. And if you need to, if your order does get away, if the market's moving fast, you can just scroll up or down as needed. Now, one thing that is nice too is even though I place my orders on the NQ, and this is a good example, the NQ dome, as you can see, moves so fast. But I do have my NQ chart, especially because I showed you guys that feature before, the link. This is on the same symbol, and I can see and modify the same order I placed on my dome directly from the chart.
Hmm.
So of course, I could scroll down on the dome, or if I wanted to, I could just modify my order from my chart, left click, drag and hold, and boom, I just modified my order. And I guess that goes back to kind of what I was mentioning before. it's not only the platform, but the data feeds we use are all server side. So you're not really stuck into one exact plan or one exact feature. You could place it on one platform and manage it from the other, or in this case, place it on one feature and manage it from another feature.
Could you show us how you enter a market order in the dome?
Yeah, of course. And it's basically the same exact way I showed you on the chart. If you notice, these screens are virtually identical. In the top right of your chart or your dome, we call it the quick trading toolbar. It
Hmm.
is this top right feature. It's the rectangle with about a quarter of it filled white. If I click on this, it'll minimize it. So if I don't use the chart trading, there's no point in having that open. So, capitalize on your real estate. For the dome, same thing, this side panel here. So all I do is under the buy column, if I want to place a buy order, click the market, sell, market, whatever you prefer. All I do
Okay.
is left click, and there we go. I have my order filled. On the dome, you'll see your current position is highlighted with this gold rectangle around the price column. That's how you know where your position is. And then, of
Okay.
course, too, which we haven't even mentioned yet, which is good to know, down here we call it the trading blotter. This is the default layout. So remember, if you delete this layout or you create your own, you will need to recreate this, but you can see by default we give you positions. So I can monitor my position here. I can monitor my P&L from here if I want to. If I did have any working orders, they would show here. I can see all my past trades. And by the way, we haven't even mentioned it yet, but we did just announce or and release our brand new trading journal. It's directly integrated with Optimus Flow, and right through this trades tab, which I can show you off the journal in a little bit. Um, if you click this export to journal functionality, it goes right to the journal. Your P&L will be tracked there, and you can keep track of all your trades. So something nice and unique.
Good
Um,
stuff.
so yeah, there is that. Since we're on the topic of this, but yeah, basically you can monitor your positions from multiple features throughout the platform. You can manage and modify your orders all through this trading blotter at the bottom. You can see if you have multiple positions, you can close them all. You can select one. So let's say, for example, I use another symbol. Let's change my product to the ES. And again, I have my watch list linked to these other features on the platform. So if I click a symbol on my watch list, for example, the ES, you can see how my chart and my dome automatically change to the watch list as well. So you can kind of revolve the whole platform around a watch list if you do trade multiple symbols. Um, but the reason I mention this is just so we could place another order. This time I'll do the ES market order, get filled there. And then let's say, for example, I have two different trades going on right now. I can modify each individually, or I could use a screen to modify both at the same time. Right now I have ES selected. You can see it's highlighted blue down in my positions window. If I click close selected, it'll only close that position. If I were to close all, it would close both. Or we have close negative and positive, which is literally as it sounds. If you're in a position, which right now we have negative $55 gross P&L. I can click close negative and it will only get rid of my negative P&L positions, or vice versa. If you're positive and you want to get out, you can click close positive. So a couple things there that you could use to modify and manage your orders. So even more flexibility with that. Um, no, these are just chart and dome that we've mentioned so far. We do have more traditional methods of placing orders as well, such as just a basic order entry screen. This is very simple. You can link it with your watch list or your dome or your chart as well. Basically, all you need to do is select your symbol. For example, I have the YM here. Select your account if you have multiple, and then you basically just set up your order as you would. For example, I have a market order here. There really isn't too much parameters to configure with the market order since it just goes in at the best available price. There is, of course, limits and stops, so you can actually customize and manage your price directly from this screen if you want. And then basically all the other orders types we've kind of went over too so far. Um, and this acts no differently than this side panel that I have here on the right hand side. It's just a different view of it. So I just adjust the buy or sell column, adjust the quantity. If I want, add a stop or take profit um, to my order, place it. And we don't have a YM chart up, but you can see down in the bottom here on my positions tab, I now have a YM position. And since this is linked, which is now linked to the chart, my chart automatically changed to the Dow, and now you can see it on my chart as well.
Hmm.
Now, the final method of order entry I would mention, which is pretty cool, is the MOE screen, multiple order entry. This is basically an advanced way you could basically create your own strategy, or one method of creating your own strategy. As you can see, it looks like my strategy here was saved before, so we could actually build on top of this. But basically what I was doing was just trying to create my own manual bracket order, and it's pretty easy to do. All you do is set up your orders here on the left hand side. So this is the same exact order entry screen you just saw. And once I have my order configured the way I do, I click add to basket. And what this is basically going to be doing is submitting multiple orders at one time. So if you're the type of trader that likes to use a multiple leg bracket order, for example, maybe they want to have 5 different take profit levels, each 5 ticks away from each other. You basically configure it here, add it to the basket, and all your orders will basically go in all at once. So if you select them, you can have them go in as an OCO to basically make yourself your own bracket order, or you can just submit them individually. You can link them after the fact. Um, it is a nice way for those users who want to place multiple orders at one time, um, and get potentially filled all at once. All right, so now that we have covered basically most of the order entry on this platform, let's go on to indicators and technical analysis. And I know, as I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of this platform is focused on technical analysis. That's why we do call it flow. There's a lot of order flow capabilities, volume profile, TPO, etc. Now, on the topic of analysis, you have multiple avenues to do so. For one, we have our basic technical indicators that will work about on just any sort of chart. So if you want to access our indicators, you have a couple ways to do so. The most obvious one is in the top left of your chart. You'll see there's this little side panel. These are basically just shortcuts here available for you for convenience. The top leftmost one is indicators. And here's our entire list of indicators. You can feel free to either slow down the video or pause it to take a look at everything, or of course sign up for a demo and take a look yourself. But basically all you need to do is you could either double click on one of these options or search. So let's say, for example, I want a MACD, or moving average convergence divergence. I just type it in and our filters will automatically pick out of the selection of your search entry. Once you find the indicator that you like, you simply double click on it, and there we go. I have a MACD added to this bottom section of my platform. Now we call this a sub window. So you can have multiple sub windows underneath your main chart. You could have price actions of other symbols down here. Um, some indicators specifically are meant for sub windows like the MACD, or some indicators you could actually overlay it right over the price graph. So if there is an indicator that relies on the same price scale as your main charting instrument here, you can just click view position on chart and overlay it right over that price action. And again, you'll see right when you add that indicator to your chart, you will be presented with the settings of that indicator. So feel free to adjust these as needed. Um, Colors and customization, of course, is big. And you can, of course, do that here too. So you can change the colors of here. In this case, this is the MACD data series. We can increase the thickness, uh, font, colors, basically about everything you need. And then, of course, here we have histogram style, but you can make it as a line, solid, dashed, whatever you prefer. Once you have it customized the way you like, all you need to do is click on the X to get out of it, and now we have our customized indicator here. Now let's say there comes to a point where you want to delete this, or you need to edit something. For example, you could see this green line I put here doesn't look exactly great, so maybe I want to edit that. I can come down to the bottom left of my chart, and we have what's called the object manager. This shows you everything you have on your chart. And all you need to do is, if you want to delete, you could either click clear all or the trash can icon. Or if I wanted to edit this ugly line I had here, I can simply just change the thickness and edit my settings back to what they originally were. Um, so more on the customization. Just different ways to, add your own unique take to the platform. Of course, on the topic of indicators, drawing tools is obviously a big one that a lot of people look for. With your drawing tools, here's our little favorite menu. All you need to do is left click on this pencil icon here, and you have the full list of drawing tools. Again, you could scroll through them. As you can see, some of them have stars on them, similar to the icons that had stars in the top left. If you click one of these stars, it just adds it to this list here. As you can see, I just did triangle. So anything under this pencil icon is just favorite drawing tools. So here we have a horizontal tread line. Simply just click it, add it to the spot of the platform you want, left click, and now you have your drawing locked in. Um, we do have a way to synchronize charts. So let's say, for example, kind of like the instance I showed you before, maybe you have 3 charts of the YM open all on different time frames. If you go into the settings of your chart, you can create the drawing tool availability or the drawing default availability, make it all charts with the same symbol, and all of your charts will be synced up all with the same drawing tool, regardless of, the time frame you have. So that's something nice you could do with drawing tools. We could spend a lot of time on each different drawing tool there is. There's a ton available, and they're all pretty customizable as needed. Um, Again, same thing. We can go to the object manager. Your drawing tools will show here as well. Again, you can add text to it on these. You can move to background. You can lock location, more customization options, customization with labels, all that sort of thing. Now, on to that, I figure before we move on to the next couple of chart types, I did show you briefly settings. Now, besides this hamburger icon that I mentioned before that has your settings in there, the other key to success is essentially right clicking. If you right click basically anywhere on the platform, you have some sort of option to customize or change. So in this case, if I right click on my chart, you pretty much have all the options I've already shown. We have your object manager, so you can see all your symbols and, your indicators and drawing tools. You have symbol lookup just to add a new symbol. Style, which we haven't even gotten into yet, but here's our charting styles: bar, candle, line, dotted, and area. Aggregation. Here's our other charting styles as well. Right now, it's a time-based chart. Of course, we have tick as well, Heikin-Ashi, range bars, Renko, line break, Kagi, points and figures, volume, and reversal charts. So all you basically need to do is select the chart type you want, customize the range or ticks as it's needed for range bars, or each one has their own customization settings, customize as needed, and then apply. And then back to here, we have a range. So this is basically how much historical data is on your chart. Again, this is no different than the range option right here, but it's just all convenient through a right click. So it's really whatever you prefer. It
The platform can draw from up to 50 years of data through
Yes.
Rhythmic, right?
Yeah, so that's actually a feature of Rhythmic. Not all data feeds have this much historical data. It depends, but yes, Rhythmic, according to their developers, have historical data dating back to the creation of each contract, for most contracts. So yeah, Rhythmic data is pretty intensive. It's MBO, market by order. It's non-aggregated. It has full market depth. So this data does take a little bit of time to download just because it is so, such intensive data, but yeah, it's possible.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's right through the range. So thanks for pointing that out. Yes, you can get 50 years of historical data if you like.
Back to the
Um,
70s.
yeah, I guess if the contract exists, for some of the newer contracts, maybe like the micros, you probably can't access that, or Rhythmic will max out what's available to you. But yeah, I'm sure some of those larger, like the large S&P 500, or the large Nasdaq ones that have been around for quite some time, if it's on Rhythmic servers, Optimus Flow will pull it in. So yeah, that is a really nice thing, especially if you do use the Rhythmic data feed that we have on there.
And could you show us an example of doing an overlay?
Yeah, so overlay is basically, it can be used for multiple things. One way it could be used is to compare two charts. or two price actions basically. So instead of having two charts open, let's say, and again, there's no rhyme or reason why I'm choosing these symbols, but maybe you want to compare the ES to the YM for whatever reason. All you need to do is you can click add overlay through that right click menu I had, or in the top left right next to my crosshair, there's the same option for it, add overlay. Simply pick your symbol, double click on it, and then you can customize as needed. So we have data type, price scaling. So right now, the price scales of these two products are way different from one another. So I would probably suggest doing separate scale. That'll basically make it so instead of having one y-axis, you're actually going to have two. The
Hmm.
y-axis that appears on the left-hand side is for this overlay. The right is the original charted symbol. And then you have your charting style as well. So if you want another candlestick chart, you could put another candle. If you want a bar chart, and then so on and so forth. And you can see you get the customization options and the colors you can customize too. And then when you click apply, there you go. Now we have basically a bar chart overlaid on our YM candle. And again, these may not be two symbols that you want to compare to one another, but there are some symbols that have, I guess are correlated or, have some sort of mutual, linking them together. So although these two symbols may not, have any correlation, I'm sure there's some other products that you could use this feature, to help you out with. Or, like for example, I've talked to another trader about it before. DXFeed, for example, has market statistics. So, for example, like advanced decline line, trend and tick values straight from the NYSE. DXFeed has this capability. So, if you subscribe to DXFeed, I've seen some of our users overlay those type of symbols directly onto their chart to compare and contrast, with the actual market itself. So, just some ideas and a nice little feature if you do want to compare multiple products to one another without having to actually open up another chart.
Right, right.
Yeah, and then literally the same with your drawing tools or indicators. You can see this shows up in the object manager. So if it's getting in your way or you don't want it anymore, just delete it. That's it. So that's our overlay feature. Um, Before I get into the settings, which is what I wanted to show here in the context menu, I didn't mention this yet, but we do have alerts as well. They're basically just price alerts right now. So all you do is click this bell icon in the top left of your chart here, click on the price level, and now you have yourself a price alert. When the price is hit, the platform will make a noise. If you're familiar with the messaging service Telegram, we actually have a way you can link your Telegram profile directly to Optimus Flow, and that way you get alerts on the go.
That's
I'm
pretty
not.
cool.
Yeah, it is.
You're out and
It's
about.
yeah, it's not exactly a full mobile platform, kind of like you were asking before, but it's a nice middle ground. So that way, whether you have to remote desktop in your computer or you just want to stay aware of the market when you're not in front of your PC, this is a nice little thing you could do. It is a little much to show you because I'll need to get on my cell phone and everything and link it up with the code it generates. But it's pretty simple to do. I actually made a video of this on our own YouTube channel. Um, and basically all you do is enable alerts to Telegram. You're gonna send your chat ID into here, link it up, and then you'll just basically get text whenever your price alerts are hit. So figured that's something cool that some people might be interested and especially for those traders who need price alerts, this is something that's layered in with that as well. I did want to show settings because that, of course, is big, and I know there's a heavy emphasis on customization, so I figured I'd show everything's available. So again, you could right click your chart, go to settings through that way, or click the hamburger menu, get to settings this way as well. And there's a ton of customization in here. We could, of course, change the title of our chart. We could use custom tick sizes. Time zone settings, of course, are big if you're in a different time zone or you want to have your chart on a different time zone than your PC. Mouse wheel action, you could either zoom or scroll with your mouse wheel. We already went over this with the drawing tools. And then there's so much you can do within here. We have custom session timing. So if you're a trader that only trades between, the US stock market, 9:30 to 4 every day. You could literally plot it in here, name it whatever you want, maybe NYSE, and then you can go ahead and type your custom time frame in there. All you do is type it in there, highlight on the minutes, hours, or seconds field. Here's AM or PM. So all we need to do is, if I want to switch to PM, click on my mouse wheel, or excuse me, click the up key on my keyboard, apply changes, and now you'll see I literally have marked off basically the NYSE, the stock exchange session, so I can get a clear picture of basically real-time hours compared to overnight trading. Um, I know this is huge, especially with TPO users, so this is a big thing that a lot of people look for as well.
Interesting.
And then, going on from there, window colors, of course, is huge. Theme, I know, is big. We prefer a dark, background, especially if you're going to be looking at it all day. But again, it doesn't matter what we think. Whatever you like, you can customize it. So if you want your chart to be hot pink overlaid with cyan, you can. If you want to just be black on black, that works too. Whatever you like. And of course, you can see this grayed out section again is because of my custom session history. And then, most of this is self-explanatory. You can customize your crosshair, your grid colors. You can make your grids thicker if you need to. Time to next bar, which is our countdown timer down here, which is nice, which is good to show anyway. If you accidentally scroll off of the price, you can just click the arrow and it'll snap it right back. This is a nice segue into what we have is end of bar order placement, which is in the top right. This is a specific feature we had developed. Very simple. All it does is the second this countdown timer gets to zero, you place an order for that instrument. So there's some trading styles that we've seen from our customers that are developed around this. They place orders at the end of bars. All you do is set up your parameters here, set up the order type, buy or sell, click active, and we could leave it running for 15 seconds, and you'll see when this gets to zero, a market order, a buy market is going to be placed. Um, and let's let it run for about 5 seconds here. And there we go. Time ended. Our countdown timer hit zero. We place a buy order. So again,
Oh,
may not be for everybody, but just more options, more customization for you. And again, that's in the top right next to end of bar. Right here, it's almost like a little calendar looking icon. And then since we're here, we do have a little quick order entry buy and sell thing. Quick order entry you could use as well. And back to settings, I figured I'll just wrap this up. This, what I've shown so far, is only under view. There is tabs for each style. So again, if you want to change your candle colors, not just the background, you can see we have body color, doji, wick, candles. So you can customize everything as you see fit here. Time scale, same thing. Customize all your X and Y axes it's needed. Colors, fonts, thickness. Here's the price scale. Visual trading, this is a big one. I know I've shown you so far placing orders from your dome shows up on your chart and vice versa. This is actually configured through this visual trading section. By default, show positions and show orders are made by default. You can also click show trades, and that will basically, if you can see here, show you your entry prices of past trades,
oh.
which is pretty cool. So if you need to go back, study, you can just click on these arrows here and you can see it's literally telling me the quantity and my entry and exit prices I've made throughout the day on this particular symbol. So if you need to go back and study after the market closed or want to see where you got in and out, besides, the trading journal or the trading tab, you could utilize that here. So yeah, just more options for you. Um,
What about footprint orders, Jake? Can you explain what that is and how you work with that on the platform?
so I believe
Footprint charts, for footprint charts. Sorry.
Yeah, so footprint charts, I'm trying to think. Some of the terminology has been copyrighted by several companies, and they're called different things by different people. I
Okay.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, our version of footprint charts is considered TPO, time price
Hmm.
opportunity. Um, If I'm not mistaken, I can check on that real quick to make sure that is correct. Let me see. Excuse me, no. I'm sorry. Our TPO charts are not footprint. Footprint charts are what we call cluster charts. Cluster charts, which is a section of the platform I've been meaning to get into, are found within the volume analysis toolbar. You'll see this toolbar in the top right of your chart. It looks like a magnifying glass. And if you click on this, you get quite a few options down here that you can choose from. As you asked, footprint charts are what we call our cluster. So I'll just enable this so you can see. Let me turn off these visual orders so they don't get in our way. And for these, you do need to expand and contract your price action a little bit to get in here because it is a lot different than your normal time-based chart. So what I like to do is kind of expand and contract my y-axis to get this filled out a little bit more. And now we can get a good picture on the current price action. And yeah, this is our version of footprint charts. You can see right now I have the colorization by volume, and you could see the data type. Right now we only have a single column. This is volume. So you can basically see the volume at each price level kind of broken down for you and graphically displayed. And this is only single. You do have the option for double, or you can filter by imbalance as well. Or if you only want to see one single stat, you could filter that too. So just because we have volume by default, you can see there's a ton of others. So if you want to filter by delta, by volume, sell volume, you could do the number of trades. There's a bunch of statistics you can choose from here. Let me show you what double looks like. And this basically allows you to just compare two stats compared to one. So we still have volume on the left. The left column here is volume, as you can see. And then the right color, this is trades. So it's basically just comparing the current number of trades at each price level, um, and then the volume of total orders, including positions and active working orders.
Mhm.
So you can filter as you needed, and then the final is imbalance, and this will show you areas of imbalance as well. Um, the colors do look a little bit interesting because I have made some questionable changes to my customization options here. But again, this is part of the beauty, right? Just because my platform, you may not like the color scheme. I may not even like the own color scheme I chose for myself here. But just to show you, there is, it could look different for every single person.
Sure.
And then, going on to the next layer of that, of course, your cluster charts have the same customization options as we've shown. You will see these big zones, these big red zones, once I switch to imbalance. It's basically just taking a calculation of, an imbalance ratio and displaying it graphically on your chart. Right now we have three, imbalance ratio of three displayed, but of course you can have multiple levels, each with their own color scheme, so you can kind of get an idea of which imbalance ratio is shown where, and an easy graphical way to see it. And then of course too, for those of you that are, heavily interested in footprint charts or what we call cluster or, order flow, all of these customization options exist as well. POC is a big one for footprint charts, and you can combine that here or keep it separate. So that is our footprint chart or cluster as we call it. I'm going to disable this for now. Let's just start with a blank chart just to get back to our default view. Now there are a few other options here in our volume analysis toolbar that are pretty cool. Profiles. You can essentially create a volume profile for yourself. You can either do a custom one or you can choose one of our default settings. Just another way to see volume in the market. So let's say, for example, you like your volume profile on the right hand side. You see we have these four profile options. If I, for example, do right profile, it may take a second to load in here, but once it does, you're going to see the volume profile. And as you can see here, start to load. And basically, this is going to give you an alternative view to what we just had, our cluster charts, and start to put volume profile on the right-hand side of our chart. Now, I'm using these two features individually or independent of one another. But to be honest, from what I've seen, most traders who utilize these features use them in unison. So they'll usually have a cluster chart enabled along with this volume profile, whether it's left or right, or if you want, you can make your own custom one. You basically just drag an area of the chart and you can see you get volume profile just specifically for that section. Um, so with the combination of these two tools, most of our traders who utilize, these functions, you get some sort of deeper insight into the market, and it allows them to really deeply understand what's going on at each price level, and why the market's moving a certain way, and vice versa. Um, and again, this is no different than what you've seen before. More customization. Everything you see on the bottom here, you can lock it in. You can customize these, change POC rays, all of that done right through here. With my right profile or my left or my step, you can see by default we only have a 15-minute time frame enabled by default. But again, you can just click these. Volume data from Rhythmic is a bit more extensive, so it does take a little bit while, a little bit longer than your normal time-based data to load. But if you let it run, you'll see this will start to begin to populate all on the right-hand side of your chart. Or if you want to just do the whole thing, you could do full range, let it run, and here we have a full range. Now, besides that, moving on, we do have time statistics. Instead of plotting it on the right hand side, we kind of have this section on the bottom, which again, I have seen most people that use order flow or our cluster charts utilize this feature as well to basically line it up with their footprints. Um, and you can see exactly what they are. I have right now trades, volume, buy volume, sell volume, delta, and delta percentage enabled. You can color coordinate these as needed. You can see here are the different colors and what they mean. And then as you can add more, subtract, add what statistics you need to see. And rather than getting it, horizontally, or I guess I should say vertically displayed on the right-hand side of your chart, you get it stacked horizontally down at the bottom, just giving you another view of the market. This is something that I've seen most people who utilize these features, they utilize this as well. And then of course we have histograms, same thing, putting it in another graphical way. This is volume histogram. We do have histogram indicators as well. So, if you just want simple volume histogram, you could use that in our regular indicators, but this time histogram on the bottom of your volume analysis toolbar does give you more options. So either one works. This just has a little bit more. VWAP, it rather than our VWAP being in our indicator section, we have it down here on the volume toolbar. You have the option, as you can see, we can enable a 1 hour VWAP. I just overlaid it on the chart. You can do 4 hours, etc. If you only have a specific portion of the chart where you want VWAP to be displayed, same as what I showed you for the custom profile, all you need to do is basically drag a line or a square around a specific portion of data. As you can see, I basically just did it to this same area as I have for my volume profile there, and I just created a VWAP for that section as well. And then of course there's time and sales too. This is pretty nice. You can select a bar and basically get time and sales for just that portion of the bar itself. And of course, we have regular time and sales too. I haven't even showed that. There's a bunch of small miscellaneous features that, for time's sakes, we may not have the time to get into. But of course, we have our regular time and sales. You could basically turn this into an aggregated tape as well, which I know some platforms do have. And this has a really nice way to filter. Basically, if you only want a certain number of orders shown up at a certain price level or a certain size, you can customize these filters. So if it's almost like custom code, right? If I put more than, it's only going to put orders with more than 10. There hasn't been one in the last couple seconds, so you don't see any right now. But if we did leave this, eventually, once we start to see those larger order types, they would begin to populate. Of course, the market is closing soon, so there's probably not much activity right now in this product, but um, more customization, right? And then, moving forward from there, I know I have mentioned the different charting types. The final one I'd like to introduce to you is our TPO, time price opportunity. This is a whole nother beast in itself. This does have its own entirely different learning curve, completely different to regular time-based charts. But the traders who I have talked to who utilize this feature, they typically swear by it, and they usually say it does give them a deeper insight to the market that just normal time-based charts do not offer. Um, Most of the customization settings are no different than other charts or other features I've shown you before. We have your aggregation, style, and volume analysis in the top left that you can choose from. And then, of course, if you right click, you can get into your settings, or you can add indicators here. Something a lot of people do and what you like to see is you can actually overlay the specific price action, the normal price action of the chart right behind this TPO. So that way you can kind of get two charts into one, right? You get your normal candle chart, and then you could put it right over a TPO and, you know, get all the volume information you need and CPOC raise and things like that. So, that is for the most part our charting styles. And of course, which I haven't mentioned yet, all these charting styles are, of course, compatible and work with our chart trading mode. Again, if you do place orders on one section of the platform, they show up here as well. This is no different. It's just, a different type of chart. So, is there anything you would like to ask specifically, Dan?
I don't actually have any more questions, Jake. That was a fantastic presentation. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Um,
I appreciate your time as well.
yeah, I guess you could go into a whole presentation just on the TPO charts themselves, which would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we could. I would say most of the features of this platform we could probably talk about at length for quite some time. I just see something that popped up here. If you guys have ever heard of the platform Bookmap or are familiar with heat map functionality, this platform, or excuse me, this feature, the dome surface, is heavily focused on that. It is moving a little bit slow right now, just because, like I mentioned, the market is winding down here. But this is essentially a heat map that will filter, and you can see populate pockets of or area of high liquidity, basically like it says, giving you a heat map of the market, allowing you to kind of get a deep understanding of volume at certain levels, and it kind of matches it up to depth of market data, um, allowing you to see high aggregation of either sell orders or buy orders, or detect iceberg orders and things like that. So, not to get off on a
Yeah,
tangent, but figured I'd just mention that before we wrap up, because this is another big thing that our technical analysis users enjoy and find helpful out of the platform.
that looks awesome.
Yeah, just another another way to see the market, a different viewpoint. Like I said in the beginning, and I know it may sound cliche, but from what I've seen, trading is like an art style, right? Everybody has their own thought process to it, their own viewpoint. So just because you may not use any of these features or like these features, the next person may think something completely different and have a completely different viewpoint to it. But yeah, I would say, the biggest thing you could do is, if you're not sure, try it out. It doesn't hurt to try a demo and mess around with things and, test different strategies on the demo. It'll help you get a feel for the platform, and, maybe you'll find a feature you like. And, um, you know, I guess, on the topic of that, we do have market replay and a trading simulator as well. So if you do want to back test or test any old strategies, um, you can do so through our market replay. Or if you open up an account and have a live account but don't want to place an order, you could also test it in our built-in sim mode too. So two other things I figured we mentioned, similar topic there. So something else that's very helpful, just for testing purposes, of course. And that's yeah, that's about it. I know, like I mentioned, we could probably create it. We have on our own YouTube channel created about almost one video for each of these individual features, just kind of giving a deep dive in rather than a general overview. There is a ton packed in here, and we could probably go on forever about each feature, but I think this does give most of the audience a pretty good general understanding of what the platform is about, what you can do with it, and how can you can utilize it to its potential.
That's fantastic, Jake. What an impressive platform. Um, it's great to collaborate with you on this presentation. Thank you so much for doing this. And you had mentioned that we need to do another disclaimer reading at the end. So shall I do that, or would you like to do that?
I can go ahead and read it. And yeah, again, I'd like to
Okay.
thank you for having me on today. Thanks for supporting our platform, Optimus Flow, and our company, Optimus Futures. And we appreciate everything you've done. And yes, like Dan said, one more disclaimer before we go: trading futures and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. And that about wraps it up for me. And I thank you all for your time today.
Thanks again, Jake. Hope to catch up with you soon.
Thanks, you as well.